Hey everybody, it's Zori from OneScales. In today's video, I'm going to introduce to you the Google PageSpeed Insights tool. It's a tool that helps you understand your user experience, especially from the speed part and especially from the user experience part, how to make your website faster and have a better experience so people enjoy your brand better, people convert better, right? They buy more, they spend more time on the website. They don't just leave because they had a bad experience. Also, if you have a fast website, you actually get better rankings for your SEO. There's many reasons why you want to have a good experience on your website and a fast website. The most popular tool is the Google PageSpeed Insights, which we're going to cover right here. And it's going to be part of a many video series about PageSpeed Insights, user experience, speed optimization, making your website faster, and things like that. So this is one of them, which is how to use this tool to check, quantify, and actually improve your website speed. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm actually going to I chose for this video Zillow.com. It's just a random site that I chose. You can do obviously any web page you want. Do your website, do all of your pages. I just chose Zillow as an example. It's not really relevant why I chose it. It was just random, and we're just going to do this. Now, what you want to do is you want to actually check not just your home page, all your important pages, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to give you some information based on mobile and desktop, because there's different usability, different loading speed times, different things that you can see on mobile and desktop. It looks a little different, functions differently. You might have different, files and images and things like that. So the first thing you're going to see is you're going to go down here. You're going to get a score of up to 100, and it's going to give you for mobile, for example, it's 47 out of 100, and for desktop, it's 64 out of 100. Usually, almost always desktop is going to have a higher score because things load faster. Typically, the connection is faster. Typically, things go faster on desktop. But note that most websites have more than 50% of their traffic on mobile. So don't forget to look at mobile, most likely more than you do for desktop, but you should look at both of them. Okay, so this score basically is trying to quantify all of the best practices and the loading time and the loading speed of your website, of this page that you have checked. 47 out of 100 for mobile actually is not bad. It looks like a bad score, but if you compare all of the sites that we've tested, all the big sites, all small sites, 47 out of 100, it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of like average-ish, maybe it's slightly above average. Now, your goal is actually to make a good user experience, not to get a high score, but usually they kind of go together. But if you have like a 70 out of 100, and it's very difficult and costly to make it, into 100 out of 100 or a 90 out of 100, you probably don't want to do it, but you want to improve things over time, right? So there's so much you can do for the effort, and you're not going to actually see more returns. If you get a 70 or an 80 or a 90, they're not really going to, in most cases, be different. So you don't want to obsess too much. I know a lot of people obsess about it, but we've done SEO tests to see if rankings from a 60 or a 50 to an 80 actually are better, and we have not found any kind of conclusive evidence that shows that it's actually going to influence more. It's really about the user experience, not just the score. This is not just a game. This is real user experience. So as long as you feel that the website is fast, it's faster than your competitors, you should be fine. Okay, for desktop, we have, for example, 64 out of 100. Now, these other scores right here, these are not about the web speed and the performance. These are about other experiences, right? Accessibility for people that have issues experiencing the website. Maybe they have visual issues, or they don't see, they're colorblind, or they have other issues. There's other accessibility things, which if you click here, you'll scroll down and it'll give you some recommendations about how you coded the website. Okay, best practices, these are other things that will give recommendations. And the last one is about your SEO. So do you have headers and best practices? But the video of this focus and the series we're doing is really about performance, user experience from load speed and interaction, visual stability, things like that. So we're going to focus really on this right here. So what you can see right here is I scrolled down a little bit and I got the score, which most people are going to focus. The score from here and all the way down, these are going to be the tests that just happened live when I just clicked on Analyze. The box that's right here between the score and the search box is actually going to be what they call real user experiences. So over time, Google via Chrome, the Chrome browser, actually will gather data from real users, not just you clicked on analyze it right now, but it's going to over time take a lot of users that use actual Chrome browsers based on their own kind of Google's requirements or Google's data gathering, and it's actually going to give you some scores of real users, not just what you had right now. Right now, for example, the FCP was 3 seconds, and this was etc. It loaded in 8.9 seconds. It's actually going to give you this information right here based on a lot of users and over time. If you have a small site, it's not going to have this data, but usually basic sites or popular sites, they have this data. They have actually real user data, and this is kind of what they call more like lab data, or just right now we tested it, right? Because don't forget, your website might be slower sometimes. It might be too much traffic. It might be busy. You might have upgraded. You might have done things. So this is going to give over time real users, and this is the test as of this second that I clicked analyze. Okay, great. So these metrics. So in the test, in order to get the score, Google is going to analyze many metrics. The metrics are called Web Vitals. These are specific metrics it's going to test. Core Web Vitals, which we've made videos, and we're going to link everything on our playlist and on our website on the content. These are core Web Vitals are 3 specific ones that are very popular, which is LCP, INP, CLS, and I'll link the video we just made for it. But really simply put, it's going to try to check very specific points to see how fast it loaded and how smooth it loaded. Not everything's about time, but for example, CLS is not about time, but all the other ones are about time. It's going to tell you how it tested, what the sampling is, and if you want to read a little more, if you're bored, you can read how they gather the samples, but it's pretty simple. It's kind of based on their own requirements, based on Chrome users around the world, things like that, different types of browser. So the data that you have here and down is basically the same data, but coming from different sources, as we mentioned. So let's go right here. So a few things. I'm going to jump down. So this thing right here, you can see how the web page loads slowly. This is one of the most important things, and it's a great visual for you to see. So when you actually go to the website, you hit enter, or you hit the link to the website on your phone or on your desktop, it's actually going to show you how it loads. So the whole web page doesn't load in one time. Usually one section is going to load maybe a few words or a banner, and then slowly there's going to be other things loading, and then eventually like the big banner loads. So your web page experience is not necessarily the best, because you want, first of all, everything to load as fast as possible. So more to the left is faster, and you want to be able to not just see that it's like loading slowly, it's actually loading well. So there's many things you can optimize here, and we're going to jump into it in different videos, but I just wanted to show you the visual. So for example, it actually loaded in 8.9 seconds. So it take about 8.9 seconds to load based on this test. And you can see here the first contentful paint. That means the first time you actually see something when you load the page, which is the box on the left, you'll be able to see, okay, it took 3 seconds to load, and then it took another 5 seconds to kind of finish loading. Mostly finished loading, okay? I'm trying to simplify some of these terms. Technically, there's a few nuances to this, but this is kind of the concept, okay? And the largest contentful paint, right, it takes about 3.6 seconds to start seeing all these big parts here, and obviously the final banner right here. CLS, or the cumulative layout shift, which we have a video for it, is when you load things, do things push and move around? Are things not visually stable? Like when you drive a car, we gave an example. Are you on a bumpy road? Are you moving the steering wheel too much left and right? Are you hitting the brakes and the gas too abruptly? Those are that's like visual instability, right? So you want, even though it's loading slowly, it's loading the sections right here, you want it to be stable, not bumping and moving and being uncomfortable, right? This example right here is actually very visually stable because nothing is moving. The top header with the search box is still there. It's always there in all frames. This section right here, even though it hasn't loaded the banner right here, it's actually have a section here. These icons right here, they're on the bottom. Nothing is moving. It's actually loading very beautifully. So this is a good example of CLS, which is, it's a pretty low CLS. Now, if you notice here, every single metric, if it's here or here, Google recommends the best practices of what's good, what needs improvement, and what's poor. And you'll see these by the color coding. So if something's red, they actually say, oh, this is not good. You see here, there's scores here, red, orange, green. and you'll see them right here. This is a good example because you'll see the bar. It's actually within the green. It's within the green. It's almost, basically the orange, green, and et cetera, et cetera. You'll be able to see those. So they have best practices. We'll link everything in our articles, and in the videos, you'll be able to see everything, but you can see that. So the next part is one of the best parts. Aside from the score, you're going to have diagnostics, which basically means recommendations. Anything that's in the red, you can improve it, and you can actually read what it is. Some of these things are very technical, so if you're not sure, just give it to your developer, your engineer. They can work on it. Some things are easy to fix, some things are not. It will make many videos and give recommendations what common best practices can be. So for example, this one is a pretty easy one to fix. Properly sized images. You should upload the image file in exactly the size that's relevant for the device, right? You shouldn't have just a huge image, but you're viewing it on mobile. There's no need for it. So it's giving you all these recommendations. You can do a lot of things. We'll cover a lot of them. Now, these recommendations, red is poor, right? You can improve them. You should improve them. Orange is you can improve them, but maybe they're smaller improvements, but you should still work on them. And then there's sometimes green, and there are these white things which either are okay, you don't need to improve it, or there's also these small things. For example, avoid large layout shift. This is one that you actually want to improve and work on. You can filter them by how they affect all of your score, or how they affect specific metrics or specific web vitals, for example, the FCP, LCP, etc. But again, I like to look at all because they're all relevant and you can just filter them. Okay. What else is really important? So in order to have a very fast website, you need to improve your code, do things like lazy loading and preloading, and optimize your images, do all kinds of stuff, right? Now, you can actually use this tool to visualize and see more things, how you might improve the score or improve the user experience. So there's a few cool tools you have right here. Okay. So the first one I want to do is this view tree map. So when the page loads, when a specific page loads, for example, it loads, tens of images, it loads JavaScript, it uses CSS, which it makes the style, makes things look the right way or the right colors. And it loads a lot of things, tracking scripts, code for improving your websites, all kinds of stuff. So if you click here on view tree map, you'll be able to actually see what elements loaded, in particular scripts and CSS styles and scripts, and what is actually causing the time to load, the time to slowly load the web page. So you can see there's all these things. This is the list right here, and these are the visuals. I like to look at the big boxes. What big boxes are causing most of the loading time? For example, Google Tag Manager, some Zillow, static images, etc. So you should actually look at these things and figure out if you need them, figure out if you can optimize the code on them, remove some of the code. You have, for example, tracking codes right here, if you're aware of this. You have obviously TikTok related things, for example, Google Tag Manager, all kinds of things, Facebook code. So you actually need to see if these things are relevant for you and if they're slowing things down or not, and you can actually improve them. You can change the order of how they load. You can load them later. Maybe you don't need them on all pages. There's a lot of things you can do, and we'll dive into them on different topics. But you can actually visually see this, and you can give your developer, your engineer, say, hey, what is this? What is this thing? Can you explain to me? And then sometimes a lot of businesses actually left some code. Maybe they don't even use it. So for example, this one, Datadog, seems to be tracking of your server and your response time, things like that. Maybe you don't use it anymore, so you can remove it very easily or put it on some pages or only put it in sometimes. There's a lot of things you can actually review, and you can actually improve the code on some things. So this is a nice visualization tool you have. I like to use it a lot. Okay, another thing you have here is the calculator. So C calculator right here. Now, this has a little bit of a bug. I'm not sure why this happened lately, but some people have reported this issue. But the good thing on PageSpeed Insights is if you go to a website, you can use the PageSpeed Insights via pagespeed.web.dev, but you can also use it in your Chrome browser. So you can go to any page right here. For example, the Zillow.com. I can right-click, click on Inspect, and click here on Lighthouse. And what I'm going to do the exact same thing. It's the same tool with the same technology. This is made by Google, Lighthouse, and Lighthouse powers, it actually is being used under PageSpeed Insights. So I'm going to click here. For example, I want to do only performance on mobile. Obviously, you should do mobile and desktop. Let it run. It's going to load the page and load the same thing that you saw on the PageSpeed Insights, also just on your browser. So you can actually do the test yourself. This is especially useful for a few reasons. Number one is it actually solves a calculator problem. Some of you might have this calculator problem. Hopefully they'll fix it in the next version. But the other thing is sometimes maybe you have maybe you have a new website and there's a password. It's blocked maybe via a login or something. So if it's blocked, the PageSpeed Insights can't access it. So if you have your own browser, it's not blocked because you can put the password in and then you can do everything yourself. So it's another way to actually use this, and it's the same exact tool. Okay, so if I click on C Calculator, for example, it's actually going to load the calculator, and it's going to load all your 5 important metrics, and it's going to build up the score. So you can actually talk to your developer or talk to your marketing people and tell them, okay, if we improve, for example, we make our LCP smaller, which basically maybe we reduce the size of the banner. Maybe we have less bandwidth. For example, on the homepage, maybe we have 6 rotating banners. We change it to 3. This is going to improve. So if we improve it a little bit from 54, we can actually get to, for example, 67. Okay? And so you can actually play with this number to see how much effort you might think you might be able to improve things and see where your score might be going. You can change it, obviously, mobile and desktop, all that stuff. Now, one thing that's interesting to know is not all metrics have the same value for the score calculation. So, for example, LCP, TBT, and CLS have the highest percentage of how they affect the score. So sometimes, for example, right here, CLS, I'm already doing really good. It affects 25%. So no matter what I'm going to do, it's not really going to change my score unless I get a worse score. If my CLS becomes worse, actually my score is going to go down a lot. But it's already on 0.1, so 0.100 didn't affect the score at all. You see here 0.1, even 0.2 doesn't affect the score. So you can actually see how much improvement. I can only improve here maybe 20%, so maybe it's not worth for me to do it so much. I really want to focus, for example, on the speed index, making the whole page load quicker. Or LCP, for example. These are just examples. These tools really help you. Sometimes you need to work with a developer, and as always, OneSkills is here to help you. So if you have a specific question about anything we're talking about or things that you're doing that very specific to your case, ask us in the comments, ask us on social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, ask us on the website, on our articles, comment, and we'll be happy to help as best as we can. And the community as well, right? We're trying to help you guys and help everybody with this stuff. Okay, so ask any question you have. It doesn't hurt to ask. It takes a minute or two, right? Okay, great. So this is the kind of idea. You have the same metrics, how to improve. You can see how it loads, if things are adjusting, et cetera, what to improve. Okay, so let's go back here. That's it. Other than that, this is kind of an overview. We're going to cover all of these things. Again, just to summarize, this tool helps you monitor the page speed, how it actually loads, how the user experience is, mostly from the loading speed and the visual stability and the interactivity. When you click on something, maybe you click on a form or a menu, how long does that take to load and to move? So everything is here. This is the real users, right? That were kind of anonymized. This is the test you just did right now, which the server just tested. These are the 5 most important web vitals, which are metrics. And this is the visual. We talked about the tree map, recommendations, and all that kind of stuff. So I hope this makes sense for you guys. We're going to make more and more videos. We're going to link all of them. So if you're really into speed optimization, user experience, you're going to have all of them put together. You'll be able to see, 5 to 10 different videos that you can actually improve. And we're going to dive into real examples. We made a Shopify one that gave real examples how you can actually improve by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We give examples. We're trying to answer your questions, and we're going to do more and more stuff. So hope you enjoyed this video. If it helped you in any way, if it gave you any insight, please like, please subscribe, please share. It really means a lot to us. It's the only thing we ask for. Everything is free. We spend all of our time to make these videos for you and these articles and social media posts. Just subscribe, say hello, like, share with a friend, share with your parents, share with a colleague. Say hello. Tell me if it helped you in any way. Tell me what helped. Tell me what you're looking for if you're looking for anything else. That's it. We'll be making more and more videos. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks, guys.